Hey, what is up, everyone? Pocket here from Pocket Gaming, and we have some big news coming down from Blizzard today, talking about Season 4 of Mythic Plus. And I'm a huge fan of Mythic Plus, and some of these changes are looking pretty good from a progression level. So we're gonna go through, kind of talk about the news, and then I'll share with you guys my opinions and stuff like that, and how this is going to affect us going into Season 4. So let's take a look at this real quick. So first off, the dungeons that we have in Season 4 are going to be the original Dragonflight dungeons, which is awesome. And we haven't seen some of these in like over a year, so I'm okay with this. I'm excited to kind of hop back into some of those dungeons that we haven't seen in quite some time. So I know some people are a little upset. They'd rather just see brand new dungeons altogether. And by brand new, I mean just older dungeons that were recycled. But I think hopping back into these older ones is a really good way to end Dragonflight, starting with the original one. So I'm okay with this. I like this. This is a good idea. Alright, no timer like the present. Season 4 changes will apply to all 8 of Dragonflight dungeons as part of these adjustments. We have a few goals in mind. Recalibrate core difficulties to align with seasonal player experience and progression. Serve the community who enjoy dungeon content but feel that Mythic Plus content isn't for them due to the pressure of taking part. And create a better environment in Mythic dungeons to prepare other players to take part in Mythic Plus. One of the most notable changes players can look forward to is the removal of the timer for Mythic Keystone dungeons for what are currently 0 and 10, or 0 through 10, I think is what they meant. Players can run through these dungeons at their own pace without the need to watch the clock while still honing their skills. So here's a look at the changes for each difficulty. So normal, not changed. Heroic, the tuning and rewards of this difficulty are increasing to the equivalent to a baseline Mythic 0 dungeon in the current system. Mythic difficulty changes and mechanics will not be present in this difficulty. This remains a queuable experience. This is awesome. I have never touched, I don't think I've ever been into a heroic dungeon in all of Dragonflight because you don't need to. You can go from, I mean, let's be honest. Okay, so we're gonna gear a character. You hit level 70. You might do if this is an alt, you might do the catch-up stuff, the catch-up quests and stuff, or the storyline quests that'll give you somewhat equivalent gear. And then you're just gonna pretty much either start at Mythic 0 and do a world tour, or you're just gonna go grab your own key, a +2, and just start pushing that. That's what I do. I just started a new Holy Priest character, and I'm a 420 item level, and I just went, grabbed a +2 keystone, and I just started doing Mythic Plus, skipping all of this. I didn't do Mythic Zeros either. So that's really good, because right now, a heroic dungeon, like if we were to jump in a heroic dungeon, the loot that it'll drop is a 428 item level. Alright? Now, what this is saying, it's going to drop Mythic 0 gear, which is a 437. So you're pretty much just getting rid of all this beginner stuff that you don't actually need, so you can just queue into heroic and then have enough gear to then immediately start going into Mythic Plus and start doing like raiding and stuff like that. Alright, Mythic. The tuning and rewards of this difficulty are increased to the equivalent of a +10 dungeon with affixes in the current system. There are no timers, affixes, or limitations on changing specializations or talents while in the dungeon. The goal is to create a mega dungeon-like difficulty for this experience. This difficulty should present a meaningful challenge and provide commensurate rewards without the pressures of current Mythic Plus system. Mythic 0 is still in a weekly lockout under this model. So that's, you can jump into a Mythic 0, and that's pretty much getting rid of anything underneath a +10 in the current system. Because if you're doing a Mythic Plus right now and you do a +2, you're probably not going to notice the difference between a +2 and a +5. It like feels the same. the difficulty isn't that much different. So they're pretty much just compressing it, and every single keystone level, every normal to heroic mythic is going to feel actually harder than this watered down system where we have people running +2s to +30s, you know, on that high end stuff. Okay, so let's look at Mythic Plus now. The Mythic Plus system will have rewards up to level 10 with +2 starting what would regularly be a +11 in the current Mythic Plus system. A +5 should be as hard as a +15. A +10 should be as hard as a +20 in the current Mythic Plus system, etc. That's crazy. Alright, so let's take a look at this visualization chart that they gave us here, and talk about how I would progress a character right now. So let's say we hit 70, we're a fresh 70. We don't usually go into normal. Let's be honest, we're gonna go to the auction house, we're gonna buy all the upgraded gear, we're gonna skip normal, we're gonna skip heroic, and we're gonna jump straight into either Mythic Zeros and do a world tour, or we're just gonna get our +2 key and just jump in from there. But now in Season 4, they are compressing everything down. So if I were to have a fresh 70, I could go into a normal, get gear, and then jump into a heroic, and then start doing my Mythic Plus. You're not going to be able to go straight from a fresh 70 character to a Mythic 0 or even a +2. That would be like taking your fresh 70 and going straight into a +11. Okay, well, I mean, you can do that. There's people who can, but we're talking about the average player here, right? So this is going to make normal and heroic and even Mythic 0 so much more relevant than it is now, because quite frankly, it's not relevant at all. So this is fantastic. I love this. And then when you get to a +10, that's the max. That's where our max gear is going to drop from. And even that's where the last affix comes from as well. So it's going to drop at a +2, a 4, and a 10, I believe is, +2, a +5, and a +10 is where those affixes are going to come from. So you're not even going to see that last affix until a +10, which in equivalent would be like if I were to run a +20, that's when, right in this season, that's when that last affix would show up. So I really like that. That's going to be a huge improvement, and it's going to be very helpful for new players getting into Mythic Plus altogether and just making all this convoluted keystones that we don't actually need, because again, they're all so similar. It's just going to compress that down and make your progress feel better as well. When you time that +2 or you get a 3 chest on that +5, it's going to feel better. And let me tell you, you're going to notice a difference between a +5 and a +8 compared to right now and then going into Season 4. So this looks fantastic. I'm really excited about this. All right, and another section that they have here, to the victor go the spoils. I'm just going to kind of scroll slowly down through this so you guys can kind of see what the comparison is in between the different gear. So over here on the left, we have Season 3, so the current season. Over here on the right, we have Season 4. So for example, normal dungeons in Season 3 dropped 421. They're going to now drop a 460 item level. And then a heroic dungeon is going to drop 476, which would pretty much, like here is when they had their heroic dungeon. They're just getting rid of that altogether. So there's a larger gap in between, and those heroic dungeons are going to be a little bit harder. But once you do your heroic dungeons, if you want to gear a new character or a new player, what have you, you can run those heroic dungeons and then get into Mythic Zeros afterwards. So that's pretty much the rundown of it. And then here, a +9 and above, you're going to be dropping 509 item level gear, and then from the vault you'll get 522. So that's pretty much it as far as that gear comparison goes. And then here, if you want to pause it if you want, they just go over crests and flight stones and stuff like that. I'm not going to go too into that. You can read it if you want. And then this article will be in the description of the video as well, so check it out. Overall, guys, I think this is going to be a really good change. It's just going to simplify things. It's going to make it easier for more players to get into Mythic Plus and it's going to make it so those players who don't like the toxicity of doing these +2s just to get gear, stuff like that, it's going to make it a lot easier for them to just do a heroic or a mythic 0, get the gear they want, and not really have to do it or worry about the timer or those toxic players. Because I mean, there's always going to be toxicity. It's World of Warcraft, let's be honest. But there shouldn't be as much toxicity if there's not a timer. So from a +2 to a +10 equivalent, there's not going to be a timer for those dungeons. Talking about this season, right? If we were to do it that way. So, yeah, this is really good. I'm really excited about this. And we're going to be doing a lot of Mythic Plus during this next season. And we'll talk about more how it feels compared to the other seasons. But this is, I like this. I think this is a good change. I think it's a needed change. I don't think it's going to make a huge impact altogether on the player base of World of Warcraft. I don't think it's going to make other people start coming back all of a sudden. And just because this is the final season, there's going to be less players in general because there's not really any brand new content per se. You know, we're just going to recycle raids and stuff like that. But I think this is a good start to getting all those watered down keys out of the way that no one's really taking part of in any way. So I like this. All right, guys, well, that's really all I had. It's just a short, quick video kind of talking about this. Is this a good thing? Are you guys excited about this? Is this gonna have a negative effect? I don't see, personally looking at this, I don't see negative effects coming. I think it's only positive. So yeah, let me know what you guys think. If you like this video, give it a like, subscribe, and stop by the stream anytime. Come hang out. We'll be doing keys, playing some hardcore World of Warcraft. So anything WoW related, I usually take part in. So, all right, guys, thanks for watching, and we will see you in the next one. We'll see you later.